What's up, guys? So this one is kind of is one I've been looking forward to watching. This is a bunch of, from what I understand, again, I haven't watched it, right? Because we watch it together. This is a bunch of nurses and doctors involved in a healthcare fraud in California, right? We learned about the Somali fraud in Minnesota. Then we found out it was happening in Maine. You know, the stuff in Minnesota, thank God for Nick Shirley exposing all of that. Now we've had some other really great indie investigative journalists doing it, and it's so great because they don't have to get clearance from their news organizations to cover these things, and they can just go out and cover it for the American people. So huge shout out to Nick Shirley. And then we found out it was happening in Maine. Then we found out it was happening in Wisconsin, I think. Now we've uncovered that it's possibly happening the most in California. And from the sound of it, from the looks of the title of this video, it looks like there's a lot of Americans complicit in it, which honestly, in some weird way, makes me feel a little bit better than just people that weren't even citizens here 10 years ago coming to America and taking millions, if not billions of dollars in U.S. taxpayer money and driving around in Beamers while claiming that they're helping autistic children. And the other even worse part about that is this money was going out in record amounts in suitcases. Don't ask me how it was happening. In suitcases to Somalia, the money out of Minnesota, you know, that Tim Walz somehow couldn't stop. I'm not going to be disrespectful to Tim Walz, but he really pushed back hard on, you know, if someone says there's all this Somalian fraud going on, you don't say the Somalian people are really valued here. You can say that in the same breath as, yes, we need to get to the bottom of this, and we don't appreciate Somalians who come here who do this. Like I said, again, this political correct world is crazy. We have to call a spade a spade. If you've watched my content before, I'm a big supporter of nuanced thinking. I think we have to get the world thinking more in a nuanced way. We've got to upgrade everyone's brain to where they can critically think on different levels. And I think it's happening. It's going to keep happening as we get flooded with more and more information for those that actually absorb it and want to take part, right? Because this is what our elections are about. Now, there's a lot of people that just want to enjoy their lives and don't even care to get informed on anything because they want to just enjoy their lives in a totally different context. And that actually makes a lot of sense to me. So, but this seems absolutely insane. So let's see if I'm right about this. Are there American doctors and nurses that have been participating in this?
A major healthcare fraud
I don't know if I said, it makes me feel a little bit better because at least Americans are benefiting off the tax dollars, even if it is in a criminal way. Although that's pretty much the same thing. It's not great.
Investigation here in Southern California. Defendants built the U.S. out of more than $50 million. That's according to the U.S. Department of Justice, saying doctors and nurses were arrested today. Eyewitness News reporter Annabelle Munoz has the details.
The FBI provided this video, part of a series of search and arrest warrants conducted across Southern California this morning over suspected health fraud, including in hospice care.
These defendants recruited beneficiaries who were not terminally ill and paid them to pose as patients receiving hospice care.
Wow.
Medicare then paid millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars.
So you've got legit actors. I mean, this could be old people acting sick for cash kickbacks. And look, I get it, right? With gas at an all-time record high. And now, because of, they say because of feminism, right? And I'm a supporter of women voting. I don't know where these crazy guys get that women shouldn't vote. I mean, just because someone is going to make a stupid vote doesn't mean they shouldn't be able to vote. I mean, unless we're going to implement nationwide a practice where everyone has to take a small basic test before they vote to make sure they at least are above board and thinking before they just make a vote for nobody. You know, I could understand that. Kind of like how you take a test to be a citizen here. But because of feminism, now, because, right, everything's run on money, the moment women entered the workforce in droves, employers had too many people that wanted to work. So that means less overtime for everybody, more part-time work for more people only, and now just to afford all of the things we used to afford on one income, it's now two incomes. So if you're only one person, you're making half as much as you used to make. And we all know that wages historically never increase at the same level the economy increases, by a landslide, right? Like the economy can increase, GDP can increase 500% in 10 years and wages will still stay the same, which is absolutely disgusting. So look, I get it. I've had people, I one time had a guy who was a vet try and scam me posing as a celebrity on Instagram, and I don't know, I didn't have anything better to do, so I tried to track him down without him realizing I was trying to get information on him, and it led me to this woman in Iowa who was laundering money for him. And she was an older woman who was disabled that was just kind of like, I don't want to know anything, just pay me and I'll do what you tell me to do. So people need money. I wish Donald Trump would just realize, and the US government would understand that. Look, I know we've got important priorities, but we got people struggling out here, and then everybody is so narrow-minded that they can't see past their own situation, that if they have a business and they're doing well, then all of a sudden they think that everyone should have to go out and make it on their own. Look, I'm not a fan of either hard right or hard left. I think we need to have a more nuanced approach to everything. And that involves eliminating bureaucratic process. Look, we've got to do everything right, but we need to be transparent and accountable. If you've watched any of my content on Violet Voyage, I'm all about accountability and transparency. I actually ran for mayor last April of the little Illinois town, Galena, Illinois, got 20% of the vote. I'll run again in 2029, and hopefully I get elected, and then I can maybe do some more political stuff. In the meantime, I'm really wanting to work on my career in entertainment, but that's another video. Let's keep watching here. This is pretty crazy.
On false and fraudulent claims submitted by fraudsters.
Among the 8 people arrested, a Covina couple. The Justice Department says 66-year-old psychologist Gladwin Gill and his wife, a registered nurse, operated a fraudulent hospice business out of Glendale.
This particular hospice submitted more than 5.
So it's a doctor and his wife. Wow. And I mean, they just fall on hard times and they see a loophole. I can't honestly blame them, but look, if you get caught, you pay the price, because that is not okay. I think he's about to say 5.5 million.
$2 million
5.2
in fraudulent claims, and Medicare actually paid out more than $4 million.
Wow.
Mr. Gill's attorney told Eyewitness News he denies the allegations and looks forward to his day in court.
Wow. And of course, right, if you've gotten 4 million and you've already squirreled that away in Swiss bank accounts and Bermuda accounts, you were smart enough to do that, you've got to go on the complete defense. So of course he's going to go on the defense, right? You're not just going to be like, take me in, because your life is over. So they're probably going to continue to try, and that's what most criminals do these days, right? Just obfuscate, distract, deter, until they got you red-handed and you can't prove anything else. Just keep saying no, no, no. And I mean, look at our government as well. Everyone says, including Trump, says, I didn't do it, I didn't do it, I didn't do it, and then until it's just nothing can be shown anymore, or no, all the evidence supports that they did do it. And usually what happens before then is they step down and just kind of get out of the public light so that they don't have to take any more attacks and just say, well, I don't know what everyone was talking about.
Joined by Dr. Mehmet Oz, head of the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services.
We're going to review every single hospice in California to make sure that they're all appropriate, and we hope to do that expeditiously. We'll do it.
I like Dr. Oz. This guy doesn't, you know, of course, from the Dr. Oz show, this guy does not play around. He was in Minnesota uncovering the Somali fraud after Nick Shirley was there, and he's not playing around. He's I don't know much of his history. You know, everyone's got skeletons in the closet, but honestly, he seems like a really great guy. So I would not want to have him on your trail.
This year.
During the news conference, federal authorities were asked about this video California Governor Gavin Newsom said his office was reviewing back in January. Oz, who's Turkish-American, stood in front of an Armenian-owned bakery in Van Nuys alleging widespread fraud in the area. Asaili confirmed none of the defendants named today were connected to that video. Dr. Oz responded to the outcry that his accusations, which the business owner denounced as false, were discriminatory.
I was stating the facts as they've been explained to me, and we have a lot of evidence of where the fraud is just looking at the numbers.
Oz did not provide any evidence against a specific business in connection to that video. Today, he suggested half of LA County hospice care facilities are fraudulent, pointing.
Half of LA County hospice facilities are fraudulent. I mean, look, once people figure out how to make money easy, that's what people do. And here's another thing. If a lot of people are doing it, then there's kind of strength in numbers too, because you can hide and you just don't believe that the U.S. government is going to be able to track everyone down. And I'll agree that it gets harder the more numbers there are. So it's just not pretty. And I don't know what the exact answer is, but I feel like the government could be doing a lot more to empower people, right? Maybe not giving everything away is the answer, but we didn't even realize this money was being taken until all this hospice and daycare fraud was happening. And you think about it, $4 million given to 2 people. If you just split all this money, the $900 million that went to the Somalis in Minnesota, if you just distributed this to everybody, we would all be doing so much better, or used it to create programs where everyone had a leg up. That's what should be happening. We should be auditing this stuff more clearly, and we should be using money to help the people more.
To survival percentages as evidence.
World experts at CMS say if you've got 100% or near survival, certainly if you've got a survival over 50% for a population that's supposed to have passed in 6 months, you've got a problem.
Governor Gavin Newsom responded to the accusations the state has not done enough, saying in part, the Trump administration, home of the biggest fraudsters on earth, is trying to blame California for issues with their...
These politicians have to go so hard in the paint. It's almost ridiculous. It's like the process of running for office really makes... And having a political career, your audience suffers because you have to double down on your stance against the other side, which makes you kind of ramp up the extremism and the fear that you have to instill in your constituency. I can't stand that.
Federal programs. His press office said California has taken action for years, including suspending more than 280 licenses and banning new ones. Annabelle Munoz, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
he's a little bit more, I don't know. I think he's a little bit more of a politician than Tim Walz, though. He's kind of got that clever jargon to say, to kind of spin it back around. I don't know much about Gavin Newsom, but as I'm doing these videos, I'm learning more and more. So anyway, I think that's all of it, guys, for that story. Hope you enjoyed the video. It's great to have you here. And tune back in. Be dropping a few more tonight. I'll catch you guys in the next one.